Do English.
Their experiences of learning maths and why they have become so negative about it. I identified 3 different levels of importance as you can see in this table.
Do you mean the first row shows those points which were considered most serious?
Yes, that's right. The second row, the second most important, and so on. I also showed the difference between female and male responses. Now, you can see that for the women, they thought bad teaching was mainly to blame for their disliking math.
Didn't the men think that?
No. They talked mostly about the fact that they were actually scared of numbers.
And some of these people considered themselves to be good at maths.
Yay. Interesting, isn't it? And then the problem for the women at the second level was the fact that they couldn't see what applications maths had, what obvious ones anyway.
Yes, that's been my experience as well.
And for the men, they found problems because they had this strong belief that you have to be born with a talent for the subject to be any good at math.
I've come across that quite often in my work too.
And then at the third level, it was striking that men and women had the same problem, which was that they weren't really aware of alternative strategies for solving problems.
Thanks. Now, what about the second part of your study?
The method I used for my research was observation.
Of what?
Of how different people solve math problems. So basically, I set them a problem and asked them to write down any workings out. And I made notes on how they did it.
Good mathematicians?
A mixture, actually. 5 successful and 5 less successful. Now, I found that the most common strategy used by the people who got the correct answers was that they attempted to comprehend the question taken as a whole. This obviously helped them a great deal in contrast with the way unsuccessful participants worked. For them, the most common strategy was to take a solution which they had learned before and try to apply it.
And were there any other strategies?
Yes. The second most common technique I saw used by the good problem solvers was visualization.
How interesting. I've noticed that actually how I work best, and what about the weaker ones?
Well, I have to say the strategy they used was to give up immediately after reading the question, I'm afraid.
That's extremely interesting, Aya.
Do English.